When did you realize your mother would lie about anything for attention? My mother called me in January saying she had 3 months to live. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, already spread to her liver. I dropped everything. Flew home from Portland that same night. Quit my job over email. I couldn't leave my mom alone for her final months. She was crying on the couch when I arrived, clung to me tightly. I'm so scared, honey. I don't want to die alone. You won't, Mom. Can you imagine discovering the person who birthed you, the one you loved unconditionally, would deliberately, cruelly destroy your entire life just for attention? Because that's exactly what happened to me. I rushed home, dropping everything, convinced my mother was dying. What I found was a lie so twisted it cost me everything. It started with a phone call late at night. Mom's voice, frail, broken. I'm here now. I'm not going anywhere. She squeezed my hand, her eyes watery. You're such a good daughter. Not like your sister Kathleen, who hasn't even called. Kathleen lived 10 minutes away. 10 minutes. My heart sank. I called Kathleen immediately, my voice shaking. Mom's dying. 3 months. Why didn't you call? Kathleen just sounded tired. Tired? What's she dying from this time? She asked. This time. I couldn't believe it. This time she has cancer. Kathleen. Pancreatic cancer. She actually laughed. A dry, humorless sound. Sure she does. Just like the brain tumor last year and the heart failure before that. I was furious. How could she be so callous? Those were scares. Misdiagnoses. This is real. She showed me the papers. Kathleen just hung up. I stood there, phone still to my ear, a raw anger bubbling inside me. Our mother was dying and my own sister didn't care. Mom needed constant care. Doctor appointments, chemotherapy, radiation, but she always scheduled them when I couldn't drive her. She'd insist on taxis, refusing to let me come inside. Too depressing for you, sweetie. I'll be fine. It felt odd, but I pushed it down. She was sick. I spent my savings trying to make her comfortable. Organic groceries, medical supplies, a fancy massage chair for her pain. I even renovated her bathroom for easier access. $20,000. Gone in 6 weeks. Every penny. She seemed grateful, but always brought up Kathleen. Your sister still hasn't visited. Can you believe it? She was always selfish. You're the only one who really loves me. I tried talking to Kathleen again. She's dying. Please just come see her. Kathleen laughed again, that same hollow sound. Check her medical records. Medical records? The ones from her doctor. Her oncologist. What's his name? My blood ran cold. I realized I didn't know. Mom always went alone. Said it was Dr. Roberts at the county hospital. I called the hospital. No Dr. Roberts in oncology. No Dr. Roberts at all. Must be a different hospital, Mom would say vaguely. I get confused with all these appointments. But she wouldn't tell me which one. A sickening suspicion began to crawl under my skin. I started following her. She'd take a taxi to the hospital, walk inside. I'd wait in the lobby, heart pounding. I never saw her check in. Never saw her go past the gift shop. She'd buy a coffee, sit for 2 hours, then leave. 2 hours. For coffee. I confronted her. Where's your oncologist, Mom? She burst into tears. Big, dramatic sobs. Why are you interrogating me? I'm dying and you're acting like a detective. It was classic, Mom. She then pivoted. Just needed to update your insurance forms. Insurance. You know I'm covered through Dad's pension. I stared at her, disbelief warring with a growing dread. Dad's pension ended when he died 5 years ago. She just changed the subject. I'm feeling so weak today. Maybe this is the end. Mom lived another month, then another. 3 months passed. She was still dying. Still needed money. Treatment was expensive. Now it was alternative medicine, holistic healing, meditation retreats. I was broke. My credit cards were maxed out. I was living in her house because I'd given up my apartment to care for her. That's when I called her actual doctor, Dr. Fisher. He'd been her physician for 20 years. His words hit me like a physical blow. Your mother is perfectly healthy. Comes in for checkups, blood pressure medication. Nothing else. No cancer. Never had cancer. Excellent health for her age. My world imploded. I confronted Mom, the words tumbling out. She broke down. I just wanted you to come home. You never visit. Never call. I felt a cold, hard anger settle in my gut. I moved away for work, Mom. You call me daily, but you don't care. Not really. Not like you'd care if I was dying. You lied about having cancer. I screamed. You ruined my life. Made me quit my job. Instantly, her tears stopped. Her face hardened. The victim vanished. You needed to come home anyway. That job was too stressful. Living so far away. This was for your own good. For my own good? My voice was barely a whisper, laced with pure venom. I'm bankrupt, unemployed, stuck here because of your lies. Kathleen was right about you. How dare you mention your sister? She abandoned me in my time of need. There was no time of need. You're not sick. I could have been. Then you'd feel terrible for doubting me. I moved out that night. I just left. I went to Kathleen's. She wasn't surprised. Her words were calm, chilling. This is the 4th time. 4th. My heart hammered. Brain tumor when I graduated college. Couldn't make it to the ceremony. Heart failure during my wedding. Left halfway through the reception. Kidney disease when I had my baby. Made the whole visit about her. And now pancreatic cancer to get you home. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, a fresh wave of hurt washing over me. You wouldn't have believed me. Had to learn yourself. Mom started calling everyone, telling them I'd abandoned her during cancer treatment. Heartless daughter left her to die alone. Took all her money first. My phone exploded. Aunt Barbara called, furious. How could you leave your dying mother? She's not dying, Barbara. She's lying. That's ridiculous. Why would she lie? Ask her for medical records. One document. Any proof. Barbara called back an hour later, her voice confused. Mom couldn't provide anything. Said I destroyed them out of spite. Of course she did. The family started taking sides. Half believed Mom. Half remembered her other illnesses that mysteriously disappeared. Mom escalated. I lay in Kathleen's guest room that first night, staring at a water stain on the ceiling, shaped like a comma. Every conversation, every fake tear, every frightened hug, every weak voice on the phone, it was all a performance. She knew exactly what she was doing. She called me in January with a death sentence and watched me drop everything. Watched me quit my job, spend my savings, max out my credit cards, and the whole time she was just buying coffee at the hospital gift shop. $20,000. 3 months of my life, my entire career in Portland, gone because she wanted attention. And I called Kathleen selfish. I called my sister selfish for not visiting our perfectly healthy mother. The injustice burned. The next morning, Kathleen sat me down at her kitchen table. She pulled out a folder. Inside were printed emails and text messages, going back years. The pattern was so obvious once you saw it laid out. Mom would claim a serious illness during important life events, get attention, make it about her, then the illness would quietly disappear. I had missed all of it. I had explained it away. I had believed her excuses. I called my former boss, Susan, in Portland. My voice shook as I explained, family emergency that turned out differently than expected. She listened, then, quietly, told me they'd hired my replacement. My job was gone. Derek had my desk now. My projects. My position. I had nothing. My phone started buzzing. Texts from family. Aunt Linda was ashamed. Uncle Tom asked how I could abandon Mom. Cousin Rachel sent crying emojis. They'd all heard Mom's version, but a few were different. Cousin Mark asked if I was okay. Aunt Helen wanted to hear my side. Uncle Noah sent a question mark. Not much, but something. At least 3 people weren't ready to completely believe Mom. Barbara called back 2 hours later. Her voice was different. Less angry. More uncertain. Mom kept changing details. First, I destroyed the records. Then they were at the hospital. Then her doctor had them. Barbara asked. Why would she destroy proof of the illness she supposedly abandoned her during? I gave her Dr. Fisher's number. I spent the next hour writing an email to Mark, Helen, and Noah. Basic facts. No drama. Just what happened. I attached Dr. Fisher's official letter confirming Mom's perfect health. Then I put my phone face down. I couldn't look at the responses yet. Roger, Kathleen's quiet husband, came home. He gave me an awkward, real hug. He told me Kathleen had gone through hell during Mom's fake kidney disease. Everyone thought Kathleen had refused to donate a kidney. People believed it. He was glad I finally had her back. Glad she wasn't alone. I started crying quiet tears. That evening, Mom called me 17 times. Between 7 and 9. I didn't answer. The first 3 voicemails were sobbing apologies. Then angry. Then sad again. The last 6 were guilt trips. Chest pains. If she had a heart attack, it would be my fault. I saved them all. Maybe as proof. My resume gap was a black hole. Why did you leave your last position? How do you explain this without sounding insane? My savings account showed $847. Total debt, $15,000. I used to have $23,000 in savings. Used to have good credit. Used to have a future. Kathleen found me staring at the screen. She told me to see her friend, Miranda Vaughn, a therapist. Mom did break something, she said, and pretending otherwise won't fix it. Therapy felt like admitting I was damaged, but Miranda helped Kathleen. So I went. I told Miranda, my mother faked cancer. I quit my job, spent all my savings, found out she was lying, moved out. The words came out flat, like someone else's story. How are you feeling about it? She asked. Fine. Angry, but fine. She waited. The silence stretched. I'm not fine. My voice cracked. I'm so angry I can't sleep. I keep replaying every conversation. Every time she cried. Every time I felt guilty for not doing enough. I grabbed a tissue. She made me feel like a bad daughter for living my own life. Like I was selfish for moving away, for having a career, for not calling every single day. And I believed her. I thought I was the problem. Miranda said something that made my chest tight. You know that's not normal behavior, right? I did know, but hearing someone else say it made it real. My homework. Write down every time I feel guilty and ask if it's based on something I actually did wrong or something Mom conditioned me to feel. I left feeling raw but lighter. 3 days later, Mom showed up at Kathleen's door, crying, loud, gasping sobs that sounded fake, even from the kitchen. I've lost both my daughters now. You're turning her against me. Kathleen was a steel wall. Nobody turned her against you. You did that yourself. I walked to the door. Mom was on the porch, mascara streaking her face. Honey, please. I'm so sorry. We can fix this. There's nothing to fix, Mom. You lied. End of story. I didn't mean to. I was confused. The doctor said different things. I talked to your doctor, the real one. You were never sick. Her face hardened instantly. The crying stopped. You always were ungrateful. Just like your father. Cold. Kathleen stepped forward. Leave now, or I'm calling the police. Mom looked at me one last time. This is your last chance. Come home and we'll forget this whole thing. I stayed silent. She turned, shoulders shaking, and walked away, pulling out her phone. Probably already typing, telling everyone we'd thrown her out. The guilt was there, heavy in my chest. But Miranda's homework made sense. The guilt wasn't based on anything I'd done. It was just conditioning. 2 days later, my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Mom's daughter? It was Sebastian, my cousin. He'd heard what happened. Something similar happened to me, he said. He told me about Mom faking a heart condition to miss his wedding because he hadn't made her mother of the bride. The pattern. It was so clear. Almost funny. I believe you about the cancer, he said. I should have said something years ago. I felt less crazy. Less alone. The marketing firm called the next morning. We'd like to bring you in for an interview Thursday. My portfolio was at Mom's house. My clothes. Kathleen didn't hesitate. She lent me a blazer, dress pants, printed my work samples. I rehearsed June's suggested explanation. I took time off to help a family member with what I believed was a serious health crisis. The situation resolved differently than expected, and I'm now ready to return to work with renewed focus. During the interview, the vague answer didn't work. They wanted details. My mother told me she had cancer. Terminal. I quit my job to take care of her. Spent 3 months and all my savings. Then I found out she never actually had cancer. She lied. The room went silent. Jennifer's eyes wide. Mark put down my portfolio. Susan stopped writing. That's quite a situation. It is. I understand if that makes me seem unreliable, but I acted in good faith based on information I believed to be true. When I left, I knew I wouldn't get a call back. The truth had made me sound unstable. Aunt Barbara called that weekend. I'm organizing a family meeting tomorrow. Kathleen scoffed. It's a trap. They're going to ambush you with Mom, playing victim. But I had to try. If you're going, I'm coming with you, Kathleen said. The living room was packed. Mom in the center of the couch, tissue in hand. All eyes on us. Please sit. We're all family here. We just want to understand what happened. I sat. Kathleen stood behind me. Mom immediately started crying. I don't understand why you're doing this to me, accusing me of lying when I'm sick and scared. You're not sick, Mom. I talked to your doctor. You talked to one doctor. I have specialists, multiple opinions. The diagnoses were confusing. Then show us the paperwork. Any medical record from any specialist. She looked at her sister. I can't. She destroyed them all. Stole them from my house when she moved out. That's not true. I never touched your papers. Then why can't she provide proof? Mom's sister asked. Because she never had any proof to begin with. There was no cancer. Aunt Helen's voice was firm. This is a serious accusation. You're saying your mother invented a terminal illness. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I can prove it. I pulled up Dr. Fisher's email on my phone. Read it aloud. The part about Mom's medical history. No cancer diagnosis. Perfect health. Mom's sister cut me off. How do we know that's real? You could have typed that yourself. I stared at her. Why would I do that? To make Mom look bad? To justify abandoning her? The absurdity of it hit me, and I actually laughed. A short, sharp sound. You think I bribed a doctor to lie? Paid him to fake an email so I could what? Ruin my mother's reputation? I quit my job, spent $20,000, gave up my entire life in Portland. Why would I do all that just to turn around and accuse her of lying? Mom stood wobbling. The stress of this is making me actually sick now. My heart. The palpitations are getting worse. I stood up too. Kathleen's hand on my shoulder. We're leaving. Mom called after us, her voice rising. This is killing me. You're killing me. I didn't look back. We walked out to the car while her voice carried through the open door. How could she do this to her own mother? How could she be so cruel? I sat in Kathleen's car, trembling, my whole body. 20 minutes passed before the shaking slowed. That went exactly how I said it would, Kathleen said. I know. I stared out the window. Some of them wanted to believe her, wanted me to be the bad guy, because that's easier than accepting what she is. Back at Kathleen's, I went to her computer and typed an email to the family members who'd seemed even slightly reasonable. Uncle Tom, Aunt Helen, my cousin. The facts. Dr. Fisher's letter attached. I hit send. Over the next 2 days, 3 people replied. My cousin apologized. Uncle Tom sent a long email, guilty for believing her. The third was Mom's younger brother, Will. He remembered Mom faking a miscarriage 30 years ago. He apologized for doubting me. The validation helped more than I'd expected. These family members believed me. It didn't fix everything, but it was something. The marketing firm called. They went with another candidate. My stomach dropped. I picked up a towel and started folding it, creasing the edges carefully, because at least that was something I could do. An hour later, my old team member Lucy called from Portland. People were wondering what happened to you. I opened my mouth to give her the vague explanation, and everything came pouring out. The fake cancer, the $20,000, being broke and unemployed. Lucy listened. Then she got quiet. That was the most messed up thing I've ever heard. She let me cry. You deserve better than what your family is putting you through. Her sister, June, worked in HR at a tech company. Lucy connected us. June gave me a new way to explain the resume gap. Honest enough, but vague enough to avoid the messy story. I practiced with Kathleen until I could say it calmly. Mom's social media posts started. Vague updates about betrayal and ungrateful children. I called Miranda. Should I respond? Set the record straight publicly. Miranda asked what I hoped to accomplish. I want people to know the truth. Do you think Mom's church friends would believe you over her? Do you think a Facebook argument would make your life better or worse? It would make things worse. Miranda said, sometimes protecting your mental health means letting other people believe whatever they want to believe. I deactivated my accounts. It felt like letting Mom win, but it also felt like taking away her ability to hurt me through a screen. 2 weeks later, another interview. Smaller company, friendly email. I used June's explanation. The HR person appreciated my honesty. The interview went well. They called me back for a second. These were people I could see myself working with. The job offer came through email. Start date in 3 weeks. Salary about 70% of what I'd made in Portland, but enough to start rebuilding. I accepted. After I hung up, I sat on Kathleen's couch and cried. Not sad crying, but relief so intense it felt physical. This was the first step toward having a normal life again. Kathleen took me out to celebrate. Over pasta, she told me she was proud. You're doing it in months. What took me nearly a decade? She said surviving was handling it. We needed to get my stuff from Mom's house. Roger offered to come. Mom's car was in the driveway. She wasn't supposed to be home. We walked in, and her face crumpled. You're here to steal from me after everything I've done for you. Roger stayed calm. We're just here to get her belongings. Her laptop and clothes. We're not here to argue. Mom followed us, talking the entire time. I could have been spending these months enjoying my life. Instead, I've been suffering through your horrible accusations. She was rewriting history, playing the victim. I grabbed my laptop. The massage chair I bought her was visible through the bathroom door. $20,000 for her comfort while she lied to my face. We loaded the last box. Mom grabbed my arm. Her fingers dug in. Just admit you were wrong. That's all I need. Just say you were wrong about me and we can move past this. I pulled my arm away. I can't admit to something that isn't true. Her face changed instantly. The sad pleading vanished. Anger. You're a spiteful liar. You're destroying this family. You always were selfish, just like your sister. Roger guided me to the truck. Mom stood on the steps, screaming as we drove away. My first day at the new job. Nobody asked invasive questions. They just wanted to know if I needed help setting up my computer. 8 hours working on actual marketing tasks instead of thinking about my mother. It felt like breathing after being underwater. It was boring and wonderful. 2 weeks in, I started looking at apartments. A small studio. Clean, good light. The rent was manageable if I stayed strict with my budget. I got approved. I felt something like hope for the first time in months. This was proof I could recover. Mom called from an unknown number. I'm in the hospital. Heart palpitations. The stress of everything has made me actually sick now. I texted Kathleen. She called back. She's not in any hospital. I already checked. The fake hospital visit was almost funny in its predictability. I didn't respond. I blocked the number. I felt tired of the pattern. Thanksgiving morning, I drove to Barbara's house with Kathleen. Uncle Will cleared his throat. He owed me an apology. He'd believed Mom's story without questioning it. My cousin Sebastian agreed. One by one, several family members apologized. They wanted to believe her because the alternative was too uncomfortable. I told them I understood. I'd believed her, too. After dinner, Kathleen and I did dishes. She said this was the first holiday in 8 years she hadn't felt like the family scapegoat. Having people actually believe us felt unreal. We both cried, standing there by the sink. The first week of December, I signed the lease on my studio apartment. My apartment was empty and echoed. I'd furnished it with thrift store finds. Nothing matched, but it was mine. Paid for with money I earned myself. My boss pulled me aside. I was doing excellent work. Potential for advancement. It wasn't the career path I'd had in Portland, but it was stable. People were professional and kind. Nobody created drama or lied about dying. The bar for normal had gotten pretty low, but I'd take it. A Christmas card arrived. Mom's handwriting. Generic text about family being forever. No acknowledgement of what she'd done. I threw it in the trash. Miranda said not responding was a healthy boundary. The constant anger had faded into something more like sad acceptance. Noah, a guy from work, asked for my number. He asked about my family and I gave vague answers. He didn't push. We kept seeing each other. Things developed naturally. 6 weeks in, he asked more directly about my family. I took a breath and told him the whole story. He listened. That's one of the most messed up things I've ever heard. He said it explained why I was so careful about trusting people. That made me feel seen, rather than damaged. My credit score climbed back to good standing. My savings account crossed $5,000. Concrete markers of recovery. I was rebuilding. Mom's letter arrived. Lung cancer. Early stage. Wanted to make things right. I read it. Felt nothing except tired. Real or fake, I wasn't going back. I'd spent too much time rebuilding to let her pull me under again. 2 years passed. I lived in a bigger apartment now. Noah and I talked about moving in together. My career was advancing faster. I maintained boundaries with family members who respected them. Aunt Barbara invited me to things and never pushed when I said no to events where Mom would be. Uncle Will checked in. I still felt angry sometimes about what my mother stole from me. The lost money, the lost time, the lost trust. But mostly I felt grateful I learned the truth when I did. I'd built a life based on reality instead of her manipulation. Kathleen called. She sounded amused and exhausted. Mom's telling everyone she has Alzheimer's now. Early stage, which apparently explains why she was so confused about the cancer thing. I laughed out loud. Of course she is. The people who want to believe her will believe anything. My boss promoted me to senior associate. A modest raise. It felt like redemption. Someone valued my work. I had to go to the bathroom and cry a little because it mattered more than I expected. Noah and I kept seeing each other. I was taking it slow, but he seemed patient. He met Kathleen and Roger. They got along. Having Kathleen's support, her understanding, meant more than I expected. A recruiter contacted me about a position at a larger marketing company. The pay was almost double. The job description matched my skills perfectly. I accepted. I felt like I was finally moving forward instead of just recovering from damage. Mom still told people various versions of her victim story, still claimed mysterious illnesses, still blamed me and Kathleen. I'd accepted that she would never acknowledge what she did, never apologize. Some relationships couldn't be fixed, and that was okay. I had people in my life now who valued honesty over comfortable lies. People who showed up without needing a crisis to justify it. That was enough. I know this is a heavy one, and it's taken me years to even process it, let alone share it. Have you ever had to draw a hard line with a family member who just couldn't tell the truth? Or dealt with someone who weaponized illness for attention? I'm genuinely curious to hear your experiences and thoughts in the comments below.